This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning, but we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 22nd of July, 2021, and I am Tujay.
I am CS.
And I am GK. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. In the Daily Nation, isolated, Raila fights back. In the Standard, Raila, DP go flat out with intense tours. And in the Star, Raila moves to revitalize his 2022 machine. And I'd like to add the People Daily, Ruto faces fight for UDA ownership.
Quite interesting how all the headlines are, whipping Raila for one thing or another.
Oh yeah, or almost like it was sponsored.
Even Taifa Leo is saying that Raila Baki Jangwani. So, and on that note, we would like to offer an analysis about Raila Odinga and the art of reinvention. One of the main reasons that Raila is ever relevant is because of his inexhaustible capacity to reinvent himself. His reinvention, however, is not the kind that is swept along by the tides of time, nor the current of the river of politics. Instead, it often takes an antithetical nature. What do we mean? We are saying that if the current of the river of politics is a thesis, Raila will usually provide a studied antithesis which challenges the prevailing discourse. Ultimately, this will usually result in a synthesis that is of a higher quality than either the thesis or the antithesis. A great testimony from history of this dichotomy, or dialectic, if you will, of thesis and antithesis resulting in a synthesis can be seen in how Karl Marx influenced capitalism. Professor Mutai Ngonyi has taught us that the way Karl Marx prosecuted his critique of capitalism was so thorough that even those who subscribe to the capitalist model recognize the merits in key elements of Marx's critique. The net effect is that, believe it or not, capitalism as we know it today was greatly influenced by Karl Marx. This is because the design of the capitalist model was significantly examined and improved as a result of the Marxist critique. When we look at our history from the late 80s, Raila has been a key player in influencing the design of our model of democracy. Today, Kenya's constitutional project is at the precipice of progress, courtesy of the synthesis presented by BBI. The thesis of the Ferrari presidency has been demonstrated to be unsustainable. The antithesis of an executive prime minister is impractical, but still presents merit in the critique it offers about inclusivity and political stability. Ultimately, therefore, President Uhuru's handshake doctrine recognizes the merit of the critique, and the result, therefore, is the emerging synthesis of the inclusive Matatu presidency. Raila, like President Uhuru, is a man who knows how to read the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times, which is a gift that is rare in itself. But these two men go one step farther. They do not rush to adapt themselves to the spirit of the times. Instead, they influence the design of the discourse. Even though it may sometimes appear like they are strange bedfellows, President Uhuru Kenyatta is also a man who has mastered the art of reinvention. It shouldn't be so surprising when we see these two leaders working together. Though they may sometimes have pulled in different directions in the past, they have also been on the same side at key moments in our history. It may not appear that way, but as Machiavelli wrote, the great majority of mankind are satisfied with appearances as though they were realities. In light of that, allow us to leave you with this question. Wasn't President Uhuru one of the key players of the Orange Democratic Movement, even before it was a party, when leaders came together to oppose the Wako draft for not being faithful to the Bomas draft? In fact, at the time, as an MP, Uhuru was the leader of official opposition, and Raila was the roads minister, so one can even argue that Raila joined Uhuru in opposition in 2005. And even though in 2007, Uhuru reinvented himself when he invited President Kibaki to be endorsed during the Kanu Delegates Conference, Raila and Uhuru would once again be in the same camp in 2010 when they, unlike Ruto, both supported the current constitution, which they submitted was good, even if it wasn't perfect. The point is, these two political giants haven't always been at odds, and things that are good for country when President Uhuru and Raila come together.
Yeah, indeed.
Just like his father and Jomo did.
Exactly, yeah.
Indeed.
So I just want to take some time to help the country understand the sheer scope of the work that Uhuru Kenyatta has done in the past 8 years and what it means for country. Case in point is the national land question that has plagued the nation since independence. How can we undo and correct the wrongs of what has been called the independence bargain? And it is termed so because independence became conditional, a deal of sorts between white settlers who had very obvious economic interests in the land ownership in Kenya, the nationalists fighting for independence, and the native Kenyans who had been displaced. There is no other way of solving historical land disputes other than the issuance of title deeds. Fact. And the land titling agenda of the Uhuru administration has issued more title deeds than the British, Jomo Kenyatta, Arap Moi, and Kibaki administrations combined. In the last 8 years, Uhuru Kenyatta has issued 800,000 acres to 5.1 million citizens through title deeds. And adjudication schemes have restored the ownership of 21.5 million acres to hundreds of thousands of Kenyans. In Nyanza, for example, almost 1 million title deeds have been issued in the region, which accounts for 20% of all title deeds given in the country through government schemes. In the coast, where the president was this week, the value of title deeds issued in the last 8 years alone is worth 240 billion shillings, pumped directly into the hands of the community. But then we ask, what is the point of issuing title deeds? At the core of it, it is restoring dignity to millions of Kenyans who deserve to legally own a piece of their country. This is igniting dead capital that could not be accessed without proof of ownership. And so the significance here is giving individuals security of tenure, opening access to credit, and connecting people to the expanding infrastructure around them. So when we say that Uhuru Kenyatta is a man in a rush, what we mean is that he has understood the importance of planning and why leaders cannot ignore it. Law 29 of the 48 Laws of Power says that vague plans will lead to trouble. So plan all the way to the end. And this is a law that the president is clearly living by, but also leading by.
I like that. So 2022 will be a successor election, a period of democratic transition. Now, each election a country has is meant to contribute to the consolidation of democracy, peace, and stability. What is not ideal, however, are elections that aggravate divisions, deepen conflict, or bring a risk of democratic backsliding. So what does backsliding look like in the Kenyan context? Well, it's simple. Kenyans will have backslid if they fail to expand the definition of what it means to be president. I say this because the time has come to ask whether a presidency should only mean the two tribes. Kenya must take the next incremental step in maturing its democracy. All three headlines today were about Raila and what he must do for 2022. The media seems to have simplified the contest to winning over Mount Kenya. So historically, Raila has never seen the mountain as a key to his presidency. His strategy has always been to focus less on Mount Kenya and work with the essential few from the other regions. To this end, the Fifth Estate has repeatedly stated that Raila does not even really need the whole mountain to get to the presidency. Holding all other factors constant, with just his traditional voter base of about 44%, it means he would not need the whole of Gema to push him to the 50% plus one threshold. I say this with one reality in mind. The level of effort required to shift Mount Kenya after years of anti-Raila sentiment is a hard sell in such a short time. Resources may be better spent elsewhere. Lastly, critically, all aspiring candidates must ask themselves, if the man to beat is Ruto, who is the best candidate to do this? We can see the hustler rhetoric has been working overtime, trying to delete the sins of Ruto's past. But whether this washes nationally is yet to be confirmed. So is the best contender a novice whose national popularity has not been tested? Or is the best contender a person whose national popularity has been confirmed time and again? It would be wise to gauge the big picture of a candidate's strength and performance with the clear message that it is not that it is governing and not campaigning that counts in presidential elections and eventual leadership. So don't be fooled so much by the pomp, color, and wheelbarrows that are being handed out.
Very true.
So we have a 3-part criteria that we will use to break down the headlines. We ask ourselves, are they topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, thoughtful or just plain lazy?
Honestly, I'm so happy that you added the PD headline
Yes.
as one of our headlines for today.
So I like the People Daily because it is a little bit speculative. I do want to know who is fighting UDA for ownership of.
Yeah, but of course, the context here is that the former chairman of UDA has moved to the Political Parties Disputes Tribunal, trying to get control after DP's allies kind of took over it. So I think that's quite interesting, that little shuffle, and considering that the DP has, really told us that UDA is firm and it's solid.
Yeah.
Is it?
I like that. Can we give it
Yes.
our winning headline?
Yes, definitely.
I think the other 3, the Raila ones, are
Toss
a
them.
little bit lazy.
Yeah.
So we'll toss those. Winning headline goes to PD. Onto our political pieces that we call cartoons in this country, where we also have a 3-part criteria to break down the cartoons. We ask ourselves, is it humorous or dry? Is it satirical or pessimistic? And is it effective or just plain lazy? Can we begin with the Star, please?
In the Star, we have the corridors of power, and we have 3 doors. On the left, we have, I guess that's a One Kenya Alliance door, and peeking out, we have Wetangula, Gideon, Mudavadi, and Musyoka. The next door, we have Raila, who's peeking out of the NASA door, and he says, I thought I heard a knock. And behind him is the BBI Plan B. And then the third door is the Jubilee door that has just been slammed, and it says, do not disturb.
Someone's busy.
Some of the context is Raila had said, I think 2 days ago, that there's an alternative route for constitutional change if the courts reject the BBI appeal. But then also at the same time, we know that the the people, One Kenya Alliance, are sealing the divorce papers for NASA.
I find it interesting that UDA features nowhere.
In the corridors of power. I like that. Let's move to this. We can park that?
Yes, park it.
In the Standard, we have a grim scene here where there's a skeleton lying on the hospital bed, and the patient there is NASA. And the doctor is telling Raila, caricature of Raila, we may need to pull the plug. NASA is dead, they say.
So they say. I think, should we put that?
I think we toss it.
We toss it? Okay.
Yeah, it's just there.
Gone.
In the Nation, we have a picture of Raila spinning a Russian roulette, and all of them but one say that he has one last bullet, and the exception is him supporting One Kenya Alliance. In the corner over there, we have Ruto doing push-ups with one finger and saying that
let me know when you're
ready. But I think if you consider the headline of People Daily, is he really ready? And who owns UDA? Is he the party leader of UDA? Is he deputy party leader of Jubilee? So he may not be as ready as it seems.
As he wants us to believe.
If he's party leader of UDA, then political parties act says that he should resign.
From Jubilee.
I want to submit that Ndula of the Daily Nation has gone rogue. We need to check on him, Write to us.
Everything is okay. Who do we give our winning?
I would give it to the Star. I thought that was quite funny.
With the do not disturb.
Yeah, with the do not disturb, the corridors of power, UDA evidently missing. I think it's an apt drawing of what's currently happening.
There you have it. The Star gives us our winning cartoon. So on a day where we had a winning headline from the People Daily and a winning cartoon from the Star, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also find us on TV. We're on GoTV, Pang Free to Air, and Star Times.